Greetings everyone! Welcome back to another episode of our Steampunk Spotter video series. Today, we will examine Spotter's runtime checks within the Ansible automation platform and how to enforce rules in runtime.
Okay, why do we even try or utilize the runtime checks for our Ansible playbooks and Ansible content overall? Well, checking your code with early fail principle is excellent for detecting syntax checks, security issues in the modules, and much more. We can even check the values of specific parameters, but what if the value is defined as an environment variable or it gets information from some runtime calculation? Then with the static code analysis, we're hopeless to find issues. With that, we have runtime checks that can then detect problems in runtime, as we can see in the demo later on. So let me provide you with a quick overview of our Ansible automation platform. Please note that this is an instance dedicated for testing and demonstrating simple demos and not meant for any production use. Moving on, let me show you our web interface of my Spotter app. As you can see, I have created various Spotter projects, including one named AAP Integration Runtime, which has a unique project ID. Additionally, there is 3 different custom policies associated with this project, one of them being forbidden password.rego. This policy verifies if the user has specified one of the forbidden passwords. We will see that policy in action later on. Now, if we take a look at the playbook that we have created and that we will use in our demo, we can see that in the end of the play, we will try to open 3 different ports to the full public IP address space. Back on my AAP instance, we can see that we have different job templates. If we check out the AAP runtime ports, we can see that we have a few settings to configure. So the inventory, project, the execution environment. In our case, we will set it up as a Spotter runtime, our custom execution environment, and then the playbook that we have looked at earlier. One more thing is that we have to set up the Spotter API token and the project ID of my Spotter project. To do that, we have a custom credential called AAP runtime with my project ID inside as well. Now, what is left is to execute my job template. So the job template is successfully executed, and we can see the individual tasks are running and being successful. And now it failed. We have received an error that a port 22 with the IP range set to any is not approved by my company. And now what I can do is also check the code that was, or the code that triggered the Spotter error in my Spotter app. So I go to the specific scan and then the error, where I can clearly see that the port 22 would be open to any.
Let's see another use case. So let's say that you are responsible for the networking inside one company, and well, you have made a playbook that would create a new user on the Cisco infrastructure and create some additional VLANs. So your end users and other networking colleagues can create those VLANs quickly with your automation services. But you have some restrictions on what VLANs are approved to be used, and some of them could be already in use with some other networking systems. And regarding the user creation, well, we don't want to see passwords such as password or admin and so on. Now, a good thing is that you can leave those things to Spotter.
So let's check the job template AAP runtime VLAN, where we can see that we have a survey as well. We can set the password for a user, the VLAN settings, and to add the VLANs to specific ports. Quite simple, actually. Let's execute the job template and fill out the survey. I will try to be sneaky and I will use admin as a potential password. In that case, Spotter should, due to our custom policies set on our project inside Spotter, provide an error while running. And if I execute, let's wait for the result. And from what we can see, Spotter stopped the execution due to few errors detected based on my user input in the runtime execution. Again, we can see the descriptive messages, and now the user can be guided on what to fix, and also he can take a look at the code snippets in our Spotter app.
Today's session concludes here. We value your feedback, so please feel free to share any thoughts or suggestions. If you're interested in exploring the integration further, don't hesitate to reach out, and don't forget to stay tuned for more updates.